Hey everybody, this is Scott Anderson with My-Climate-Data.com. This is the first installment of a series I'm going to call Better Know a NOAA Station. Today is September 2nd, 2015, and if you've been following the news, you know that President Obama is traveling to Alaska. Yesterday he visited what is known as the Exit Glacier near Seward, Alaska, that is famous for shrinking over the last 100 years. Since this is in the news, I thought it would be a great opportunity to post a video on Seward showing everybody how to use My-Climate-Data.com to find a climate station near you and pull up the dashboard. So you're going to start at my-climate-data.com. You don't need the www. It's going to pull up a Google map of the world, and on that map there's going to be a marker for every single US state and every single country. Now we're looking for Alaska. You can just zoom in and click on the Alaska marker, and it's going to give you a link to the Alaska homepage. Go ahead and click on that. Okay, it takes a minute, but it's loading another Google map with a lot of markers. Now, if you're like me, you don't know where Seward, Alaska is. That's okay. We're going to click here to open the Google map in full screen mode. Give that another second to load. And we're going to use the Google Map functionality, and we're just going to type in Exit Glacier. Press enter. And we pulled up the green dot is the Exit Glacier. Of course, the red markers are it's the location of all the NOAA climate stations. So we actually have a climate station very close. Looking at the scale, it's probably less than a mile away. So we're going to click on it, and the name of that station is Seward 8, Northwest Alaska, US. So we're going to click on this to open the Excel dashboard for this entire state of Alaska. Again, you got to give it a minute to load. It's loading an Excel file in Excel Online. Again, this is the dashboard for the entire state of Alaska. We're not interested in the entire state, we're interested in one site. So we're going to scroll down. These are the station names. It's in alphabetical order. You can find it right here, Seward 8, Northwest Alaska, US. Just click on it. And we're looking at the dashboard for Seward, Alaska. Right now, over here we have the average temperature in Fahrenheit is the data series we have selected. One thing that really pops out, we don't even have 20 data points here. We start in 84, we go to 2000, and then we have missing data, and we end in 2010. So 15 or 20 data points really not going to be enough for us to determine the warming or cooling. This glacier's been melting for 100 years. So what we're going to do is go back to the map, close this, and I'm just going to pull up another location. So this is actually the Seward Airport. I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to pick, it's the very next one on the list. We still don't have 100 years of data. We start in 54 and go through 2014. You aren't going to really find a lot of stations with over 100 years of data, although there are some of them out there. Blue bars are the average annual temperature. Yellow is our trailing 5-year, red is the trailing 20-year, and purple is just an Excel linear trend line. If you just had to eyeball this, you might say it kind of looks like it's been warming a little bit. We're going to go to the decade. It's the same data, but now we're averaging by decade. And again, you might say that's a warming trend. I'm going to go back over here, and one thing I always like to look at is I like to look at the last 30 years. So this is the timeline slicer in Excel. I'm going to pull it all the way back to 1985. So we're only going to look at 1985 to 2014. The 5-year trend's kind of interesting. You see it flat, you see it warming, and then you see cooling. The 20-year looks like it's cooling a little bit. Let's flash back over to the decade. And again, it looks like the 80s was the warmest decade. 90s were cool. The 2000 to 2009 kind of jump up, and then we have 5 years of data, 2010 through 2014, and it's more in line with 1990. I'm going to come back to the annual dashboard and just point out that we've only looked at one data series, average temperature in Fahrenheit. You have 18 total series. You have heating and cooling degree days, you have snow depth, you have precipitation, and a handful of other interesting series that you may want to look at. Again, you can find this data. There's over 80,000 sites on My-Climate-Data.com that you can find information for. Thank you a lot for taking a look at this video. I encourage everyone to head over to My-Climate-Data.com to find out how the climate is changing in your neighborhood. One quick disclaimer, My-Climate-Data.com is a great tool for determining the climate trend for a specific location. Taking that raw data and determining a trend for the entire surface of the world is beyond the scope of My-Climate-Data.com. For that, you would need a few supercomputers, a team of engineers, physicists, scientists, and maybe even a few politicians for good measure.